So very good morning, students. Welcome back to the GPS class. So as tomorrow you have the scheduled online mid exam, and as our syllabus is already completed up to the mid exam, 2.5. Of course, more than 2.5 units is completed. Of course, we have already seen some of the errors also. And we'll spend this class for the entire revision of the syllabus. Okay. Including the last topic, that is errors in detail. So many of you have submitted the assignment and some of you have not submitted the assignments. Still, I don't know what the reason. See, yesterday was the last deadline, right? 3rd May I gave you. And today is 4th May, tomorrow is 5th May. And tomorrow your marks are going to be finalized and it will be uploaded to the JNTH website. Once it is uploaded to the JNTH website, it is not going to change at any cost. So please do keep it in mind and submit your assignments by today afternoon to give you the marks. Are you able to understand, guys? Hello? Please respond in the chat box at least. Chinumula Prasanna. Chinumula Prasanna. Change your name to your hall ticket number. (04F1 0492). Still you have not changed your roll number. You have left some space in between. You should not leave any space. So we'll go ahead. If anybody is absent for any particular class, you should not feel bad. But you may not miss the continuity. So I will revise the entire subject clearly. Okay. So here it is. So from the beginning, we will see all the topics. This is somebody chatting. So we'll start from the beginning. So global positioning system, GPS. In fact, it is one of the GNSS techniques. That is Global Navigation System Satellite or Global Navigation Satellite Systems. So under GNSS, we have three types, three techniques. One is the GPS, second one is the Galileo, and third one is the Gagan, right? Sorry, GLONASS. GPS, GLONASS, and Galileo. GPS, GLONASS, and Galileo. So what is GPS? GPS is a constellation. It is a constellation of Earth orbiting satellites, which is maintained by the United States, that is USA government. And what is the purpose? For the purpose of defining the geographic positions on and above the surface of the Earth. On and above the surface of the Earth. So remember this point. not only on the surface of the earth, but on above the surface. Just like some of the flights may be moving, some of the aeroplanes may be moving, or some of the helicopters may be moving, or some other person may launch some missiles. So whatever be, it may be on the surface of the earth or it may be above the surface of the earth, that will be positioned. Positioned means its exact location with the longitudes and latitudes will be intimated in the form of the navigation message. In the form of navigation message. That is what is called as the GPS. So GPS is a constellation of the Earth orbiting satellites, which is maintained by some organization. So in this case, GPS is by United States of America Defense Department. In case of Galileo, it is by Europe. In case of GLONASS, it is by the Russia, I think, you know very well. So now, so what are the three segments? So entire GPS system is divided into three segments. The first one is the user segment. Second one is the control segment. And third one is the space segment. Third one is the space segment. The entire procedure or operation of the GPS can be categorized into broadly three segments. One is the space segment, second is the control segment, and third is the user segment. So of course, about each one. So what the space segment consists of? The space segment consists of the satellites or space vehicles. See, these are synonyms. We may call the satellites or the space vehicles. May consist of the satellites which are inclined at some degree centigrade with some angle of inclination, and they will send the RF signals. See, the GPS is using the RF navigation. So there are 5 techniques, majorly the navigation techniques, and among them one is the RF navigation technique. So radio frequency navigation technique will use the radio frequency signals. That is, RF signals are sent from the satellite, from 4 satellites, for finding exactly the location of a user, and that signal will be received by the user that is present in the user segment. That is, we call it as a user segment. So GPS users, many GPS users will present, and all the GPS receivers will come under the category of the user segment. And this will be sent for the control segment for processing purpose. So what is the processing? Processing will involve finding out any errors. There are sources of different errors like almanac error, ephemeris error, or clock error. So the errors will be estimated and the errors will be corrected by the control segment, which is consisting of master control station, MCC, most important. So this is all about the GPS and its 3 segments. Then what are the services offered? So that is all about the history. GPS satellite launched in the year 1978, but full constellation achieved in the 1994. First one satellite launched in 1978 after the lot of research, but full constellation, that is 24 satellites, is launched in the 1994. So their lifetime is up to 10 years. And the weight of each of the satellite is 2,000 pounds and 17 feet across the radiuses. And transmitted power is very, very less. That during that time it was only 50 watts or less than that sometimes. And a brief history of GPS. Phase 1 is 1973 to 1979, of course, for about 6 years. So this period is called as the concept validation period. In 1978, as we know, first launch of the Space Vehicle 1 is launched. And phase 2 is from 1979 to 1985. Again, 6 years span. During this phase, full development and tests are also done for the satellite. Phase 3 is 1985 to till today is the phase 3. That is production and deployment and development and improvement, whatever you call, of the GPS system. So services offered by the GPS. The first one is the PPS, PPS stands for Precise Positioning System. Precise Positioning System. It is only for the authorized users. It is meant only for the authorized users. That is mostly US and its allied military. So US government or US country is having some alliance with it. So that means some of the friends are there in its group. Of course, during the World War I and World War II, the entire world is divided into 2 or 3 groups. All countries are divided into 2 groups, and 2 groups use it to fight. So that is one Russia and another one is America. Of course, many of you know this, right, from the history. So the US government, that is US Army and its alliance, that is allied military, will use this PPS service. So what is the basic uniqueness of the PPS is it requires the cryptographic equipment. It's the cryptographic equipment and specially equipped users. So what is cryptographic means? To provide some secrecy, to maintain some privacy, we need always encryption and decryption that is provided by the cryptography. And it is accurate to 21 meters. That means there is some error. 95% of the time it is accurate to 21 meters. And second one is the SPS. SPS stands for the Standard Positioning Service. Standard Positioning Service. So it is to all the users like civilian users or customer commercial users. Its accuracy is, but here its accuracy is degraded by a technique called as a selective availability. Of course, this is done by the US military again because it is intentionally induced error. Selective availability is intentionally induced error. So it is stopping the usage of the GPS satellites by others other than US military, and its accuracy is up to 100 meters. Its accuracy is up to 100 meters. Of course, it was withdrawn on May 2nd, 2000 because of the so many requests. So it has same accuracy as the PPS presently. So space segment, of course, as a revision, 24 plus satellites, 24 plus 7 for if any satellite fails, it should be immediately replaced by that. If any health of the satellite is damaged, then that should be replaced. So 5 are kept in reserve for replacement purpose. So they are located in 6 orbital planes with 55 degrees inclination, and each plane has a 4 to 5 satellites. So 6 into 4 is 24. So it broadcasts the position and time information on 2 frequencies. Of course, we know what are the 2 frequencies, L1 and L2. And the constellation has some spares. And the orbit radius is around 20,200 kilometers, and one revolution approximately in half of the sidereal day. We used the word there, half of the sidereal day. One sidereal day is 24 hours. That is, for revolution of the earth around itself will take one sidereal day. Half of it is around 11 hours, 59 minutes, some seconds is there exactly. Approximately it is 12 hours. So it travels approximately 7,000 meters per hour, the speed. And the considerations of this is more accurate, survivability is more, and coverage is also more. And second segment is the control segment. So what is the need of the control segment? Control segment's purpose is to monitor and control the navigation procedure. So the major parts of this are master control sessions, monitoring sessions, and some ground antenna sessions. That is reference sessions. They are spaced all over the globe. That is like Hawaii, Colorado Springs, Asian Islands, Coastline, that is Diego Garcia. These are some of the places where the monitoring sessions are placed. Monitoring sessions and with the ground antennas are placed. Then control segment, how it maintains the system. So it observes the ephemeris clock. So it will provide the correct orbit and clock errors. It will also create the new navigation message, and this will be sent to the Falcon receivers and finally to the uploading station. That is, for the purpose we will use a local satellite and through the local satellite, finally it will be sent to the, again to the satellite, GPS satellite. Then coming to the user segment, so it is of course any user, of course we also will be a GPS user segment, because this mobile phone is consisting of some GPS receiver. So this is also a GPS user segment. So all over the world there are around 19 billion was invested by the Department of Defense, and the dual use system since 1985 it is, that is both civilians and military, of course also the commercial purpose. And civilian community was quick to take advantage of the system. What advantage? So hundreds of receivers on the market, and 3 billion in sales, and double in every 2 years. So for every 2 years, this number is getting doubling. Of course, at the time of this authors writing this book, it was that number, but now it may be many times increased. So GPS policy is defined by DOD or DOT, Department of Technology. So some of the applications will use the GPS satellites for navigation and tracking of the land, also sea, and also the air. So just now I said that not only at the surface but also above the surface and beneath the surface also, that is in the oceans or in the underground areas. You can see some of the real-time image photographs. And it is mostly used by the surveyors for surveying and mapping purposes. Of course, mostly it is intended to provide the military services, that is military applications, and recreational uses. And next, the technology involved, how the system is working. That is, space segment is consisting of the 24 plus satellites, among which the information is required by the user from 4 satellites, because the trilateration technique needs only information, message signal or RF signal from 4 satellites. So the monitor stations will get the signals from the 4 satellites, 3 or 4 satellites. Of course, these are some of the virtual place names where the monitor stations are present, master control stations. And this is one of the Colorado Springs, GPS control is present. And finally, the end user. So the current ephemeris is transmitted to the users. Ephemeris means the orbital information of the satellite. And what is a triangulation technique? So if 2 satellites are present, then they will make some intersection. Somewhere around here, the user may be present. To provide more accuracy, we will use the 3rd satellite information also. So these 3 satellites will intersect at 2 points. So object may be at this point or at this point. And using the another one is remote. So to measure the distance, simple formula, distance is equal to speed into time we use. That is, speed is the speed of the radio frequency signal, that is equal to the speed of the light. In fact, we know already. And time is the time of travel. From the start of the radio frequency signal from the satellite to the end user, how much time it has taken will be calculated by using clocks, that is UTC we use. Of course, this is we know. So calculation of the time purpose, each satellite will use 4 atomic clocks and uses the oscillation of the cesium and rubidium atoms to measure the time. Of course, this is atomic clocks. Accuracy, how accurate it is? There is always some erroneous data will be there. And of course, those errors also will correct, but still it is not more accurate. Always there is a research going on to improve the accuracy of the GPS navigation message. That is satellites and receiver clocks. So space vehicle clocks are 2 cesium and 2 rubidium in each space vehicle. Of course, the cost of the atomic clocks is very high. Can't imagine, it is around $1 million to $5 million each. So that's why it is replaced with the receiver clocks as quartz clocks. So the clocks that are similar to quartz watch, So always an error between satellite and receiver clocks will occur, that is delta T. Of course, that will be corrected with the GPS master control station. So of course, this is the topic we are doing. We need 4 satellites to solve for the x coordinate, y coordinate, and z coordinate, and change in the time delta T. So we can't use the atomic clocks in the receiver. Of course, as I already told, the cost is very, very high. And size is also very high. It is of personal computer size. So solution is receiver clocks accurate over short periods of time. And they will be reset often. For that purpose, 4th satellite will be used to recalibrate the receiver clock. Because the satellite clock will use 24 hours per minute, and the receiver clock will use a 4-hour per minute. So always to reset that, we will use a 4th satellite to the more accurate according to the time of the UTC by the satellites. And it will use the 2 types of codes, that is pseudo random noise codes. One is the C by A code and another one is the P code. The carrier signal is L1 and L2, the transmission time. And the pseudo random noise code may be estimated like this. And these 2 are modulated. So this is modulating the carrier signal. So modulated signal is consisting like of this nature. So at the receiving end, it will be demodulated. So and detected by the receiver and locked on and isolated. This is the things. But there will be some certain time delay. There will be certain time delay that will be estimated. And the GPS navigation message, how accurate it is and how much precision it is. So what is accuracy means? Anybody from your previous subjects? What is the measurement of accuracy? How do we measure, how do we say that this value is accurate? Anybody can respond in the chat box, or if you can respond, I will unmute you. So accuracy is always with some reference. What is this reference? That is some standard value. The nearness of the measured value to the standard value or true value. The nearness of the measured value with the standard value or true value is called the accuracy. Precision means when we measure the same quantity 2 or 3 times, those many times it will not give the same value. Then we take the average of that. That is called as the precision. So the degree to which several measurements provide answers very close to each other. The degree to which several measurements provide answers very close to each other is called as the precision. So military will use the PPS, precision positioning system. Why accuracy and precision will vary? Because of some errors. Because of some errors possible occurs. So what are the possible sources of errors? The first one is selective availability, as already discussed. So selective availability is what? That is intentionally we will degrade the quality of the other users. This is done by the military of American. And this is 100 meters in horizontal and 160 meters in the vertical position. This is accounted for the most error in the standard GPS. Of course, it is withdrawn in 2000 year. Another error is the geometric dilution of the precision. So it describes the sensitivity of a receiver to the changes in the geometric position of the space vehicles. So it describes the sensitivity of the receiver to the changes in the geometric position of the space vehicles. So space vehicles position must be accurate. Must be accurate in a proper way. If they are not estimated in a proper way, then it will result in some error. This is poor geometric dilution of precision, and this is a good geometric dilution of the precision. This is given by a numerical value. Given by a numerical value. So if it is 1, 2, 3, then it is very good. Its value 1, 4, 2, 5, then it is good. If it is 6, okay, acceptable. But if it is more than 6 means, then we need to suspect about the dilution of precision. And the next source of error is the clock error, because the satellites is using atomic clocks and the user is using the quartz clock. So there is always a mismatch. So the difference between the satellite clock and the receiver clock will produce some clock error. And ionospheric delays, the satellites are above the ionosphere and above the troposphere, and they will be traveling through troposphere and ionosphere. And ionosphere is ionized atoms and electrons are present. So when the signal, RF signal is traveling through the ionosphere, definitely it will take a traversed path. So due to this, some delay may occur. The delay of the GPS signals as they pass through the layer of the charged ions and free electrons, it is known as the ionosphere. And multi-path error, it is caused by the local reflections of the GPS signal that mix with the desired signal. See here, you observe this diagram. So this satellite is sending a signal, RF signal, to the intended user. So this is the direct signal. This is the direct signal reaching the receiver. The same signal may also incident on some of the tall towers, like a building here. Now, when a signal falls on this building, it has reflected and again reaching the same intended receiver. And the signal, same signal from the satellite has also fallen on the hard surface, and again it has reflected and reaching the receiver. So it is caused by the local reflections of the GPS signal that mix with the desired signal. This is actually the direct signal which is desired, but because of the presence of some hard surfaces or some tall buildings or towers or some hilly areas, the signals may fall upon them and reflect back to the intended receiver. Both of them are mixing, both are 3 or any other number of reflections are mixing. And because of this, the error caused, that is called as the multi-path error. That error is called as the multi-path error. So to overcome these errors, we have introduced a technique called as the differential GPS, differential global positioning system. So a method of removing the errors that affect the GPS measurements is by usage of the differential GPS. So it is a base station receiver is set up on a location where the coordinates are known. Another is a reference. Signal time at reference location is compared to the time at the remote location. So this is like this. So this is a known base station whose latitudes and longitudes are known to us. And this is a remote user which is to be tracked. So calculation is done with respect to this and calculation is done with respect to this. And these two are compared. If it results in some error, that will be corrected. If it is more, it will be subtracted. If it is less, it will be added to the navigation, final navigation message. So this is a reference location clock and this is a remote location clock. So real-time corrections transmitted to the remote receiver. So with a signal frequency of 125 meters and dual frequency will result in some half of the meter. And of course, the post-processing of the differential GPS involves the correcting at a later time. This all data will be stored and will be sent to the MCC, master control session, and master control session will take a decision and it will correct. These are some of the master control session websites. You can go through and check out it. Another technique for the correction of the errors is the WAS. WAS stands for Wide Area Augmentation System. So augmentation is nothing but the improvement, a kind of improvement to overcome the errors or to reduce the errors. We may not be able to completely nullify the errors, but we can reduce to the greater extent. So what is VAS? VAS is a system of satellites and ground stations that provide GPS signal corrections. VAS and DGPS. And of course, GBAS, ground-based recommendation system, and SBAS, space-based recommendation. These are all error correction techniques. So if you take the US GPS system, then it uses the 25 ground reference sessions and one master session, which creates the GPS correction message. Just now we already learned about the master control session, MCS. And the corrected differential message broadcast through the geostationary satellites to the final receiver. So it is 5 times accurate than that of the earlier ones. So, but the receiver should be enabled with the VAS to use the VAS services. So it may increase the cost sometimes. So these are some of the data and coordinate systems that you need to know just for information purpose. These are some of the original GPS receivers. GPS VAS errors exclusively. These are some of the sources of signal interference: Earth atmosphere, some solid structures, some metallic structures like vehicles, and local electromagnetic fields also will interfere with that. And receiver errors are cumulative. See, multipath propagation results in one error, atomic clock results in another error, ephemeris will result in error. All these are cumulative. Navigation technique. This we already learned about this. Now, what I want to show is, so this is a GPS satellite geometry, delusion operation we talked about, right? So satellite geometry can affect the quality of GPS signals and accuracy of the receiver trilateration technique. So DOP reflects each satellite's position relative to the other satellites. It is being accessed by a receiver. So what DOP tells, this DOP reflects each satellite's position related to the other satellites being accessed by a receiver. Of course, we have seen in the earlier diagram. So there are 5 distinct kinds of DOP. Position DOP is the most commonly used value to determine the quality of a receiver's position. It is usually up to GPS receiver to pick satellites which provide the best position triangulation. So here, see, there are 24 satellites in the constellation, GPS constellation. Many of them will send the RF signals. But it is at the will and wish of the receiver which signal to receive. So it decides by knowing it's a DOP, which is having good DOP, that will be taken, and poor DOP may be filtered out. So this is ideal satellite geometry, spaced at some angles. This is poor satellite geometry. This is good satellite geometry. And this is the look like nearer. This is also poor satellite geometry. So it should not be at only one angle of inclination. And of course, it will look like interfering. This is poor satellite geometry. So differential GPS will solve this problem by using many reference stations. So this is wide area augmentation system. So which will use geostationary VAS satellites. This is the VAS control station, and these are the geostationary VAS satellites, and these are GPS. These are non-geostationary. This is geostationary VAS satellite. This is geostationary VAS satellite, and these are non-geostationary GPS satellites. And this is VAS control station in the west, and this is VAS control station in the east. And there are some local area augmentation systems. LAS stands for local area augmentation system, LAS. So to track this aeroplane, first RF signal will be sent by the GPS satellites, and it will receive, because there is a antenna and receiver is there in the aeroplane. Then this information will be sent to the local area augmentation system, and this will be finally taken to the VAS control station, and this will feed the information to the geostationary VAS satellite, and that will finally send the corrected information to the receiver. So there is a lot of information in this diagram. Try to understand. So whatever till now we learned. So what is the procedure? General procedure. Without this VAS, GPS satellite will send the signals to the receiver, and the receiver knows the position of each of the satellites, and it estimates the time depending on the clocks that is transmitted and received, and it will give the position by knowing distance is equal to speed into time. But here, whether the ephemeris data or the dilution of pressure given by the satellites is correct or not, here we are taking a wise decision. So whenever it is received, this will be sent to the local area augmentation system. And here this will take a decision at the VAS control session, that is master control session. And if there are any errors, it will relate them, and errors will be corrected. And after the error correction, that will be sent to the VAS geostationary satellite. Once the corrected information is received, that will send back the corrected information to the receiver. Of course, this is done on either side. Same procedure is done on the other side. One VAS control station on the west side, and another VAS control station on the east side of the ESA. So if selective availability is set to 0, and under ideal conditions, a GPS receiver without VAS can achieve 15 meters accuracy. Most of the time it is 15 meters accuracy. Under ideal conditions, a VAS equipped GPS receiver can achieve 3 meters accuracy 95% of the time. With selective availability set to 0 here, and here selective availability may be used. And the precision, that same calculation may be done number of times. Then all the times it should give same value, but it is not the case. Then we will take the average of that is called precision. So precision depends on good satellite geometry, and what factors the precision of a GPS navigation depends. That is satellite geometry, open sky view, and no user-induced errors. Because some other enemies will induce some errors purposefully. They will send some noisy signals. And of course, from within the receiver, there may be some thermal noise that should be estimated. So this is all about the errors and all these things. And I want to show you numerical values. Yeah, you can say this. So these are the GPS error sources and amount of error present in this. Please make a note of this. This is very, very important. Satellite clocks will result in 1.5 to 3.6 meters. Orbital errors, that is ephemeris errors, will result in less than 1 meter error. Ionospheric errors will result in 5 to 7 meters. Most of the errors is due to ionospheric error, ionospheric propagation. And tropospheric errors will cause 0.5 to 0.7 meters. And receiver noise, that is internal noise, will result in 0.3 to 1.5 meters of error. And multipath propagation results in 0.6 to 1.2 meters. And selective availability, that depends on what type of selective availability you use it. And user error is up to 1 kilometer or more. So it is user induced errors. And these errors are cumulative. That means these are all to be added. So let us take the minimum values, which results in total error, how much error. So this is 1.5 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 plus 0.5 is 7.5. Plus 0.6 is 8.5, 9 approximately. And this you may take 10. So on an average, the total error due to all these sources, including satellite clock, orbital, ionosphere, troposphere, receiver, it is maximum up to 10 meters. It is maximum up to 10 meters only. That is the beauty of the GPS navigation processor. That's the beauty of the GPS navigation. Even if they are accumulated, the minimum is 10 meters. Maximum it may go up to 15 meters approximately. It can't go beyond 15 meters. So 15 meters of error is acceptable. Under ideal conditions, these will not be present, but under practical conditions, these errors will be taken into consideration. Any doubts, guys? Hello, please respond. So prepare well for the exam. Are you there in the class? If yes, please respond, guys. You can ask me any doubts. So wish you all the best for the first mid exam. Quite well. Reading that you don't have doubts. And shall I end the class? Hello. Please do prepare well. Do best in your exam. Hello. Do you have any doubts? Okay, if no doubts, I'm stopping the class here.